How's it going, everybody? This is Beat the Bush. Today I'm going to show you how to make a low-cost $3 meal that consists of fish, vegetables, and a little bit of starch. Many people think that it's really expensive to eat fish, and it is if you go buy the grocery store ones that's already filleted for you. So if you go to a place like this, Ranch 99, and you buy a whole fish, steam it yourself, it's really cost effective. So let's just sneakily bring this camera in there, buy a fish, and I'm going to show you how to cook it. Over here, just clean. Go. Thank you. $6.20 for this fish.
Okay, so 10 pieces. No bag?
No bag.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sprouts for some nice vegetables.
Two?
Hello, yeah, two.
How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you.
There you go. Have a good day.
So $6.20 for this fish is about 1.5 pounds, and I estimate about half a pound for every single meal. I have 2 bunches of radishes here, and you eat probably 1 bunch every single meal. This is $2.56 per meal for these 2 things. Add another dime for the rice, and you got your meal for about $2.70. This is fresh seafood here, so whenever you go to a restaurant, you'll notice if you ever order fish, you're gonna at least pay, I don't know, $15 per meal per person if you want to eat fish of any kind. So this is not exactly $1 meal, but $3 meal for fresh seafood is pretty darn good. So the first thing that you want to do when you want to make a quick meal is to make the rice first if you do not have it done already, because it takes quite a long time. These days I'm eating about half a cup of rice because if you eat too much rice, it's gonna get converted to sugar. So I'm gonna put 3 cups of rice in here. 1, 2, 3. Then you just fill it up to the 3-cup mark over here. But I like it a little bit more moist, so I'm gonna fill it up to about 3 1/4 instead. My rice cooker has this quick cook function, and it'll take about half an hour before it's done. So I'm gonna start this over here. And now we can wait about 10-15 minutes before we start cooking the other stuff, just so that right when the fish is done, when the vegetables is done, the rice will be done at the same time. I have the radishes over here, and typically people do not cook these. These taste a little bit spicy if you do not cook them. Here are the radishes all washed up. I rinsed them 3 times. So this is an ultra lazy way to make vegetables. I put a little bit of water in here, about half a cup or so. I have the heat turned on. Now I'm gonna put just the radishes in there. Notice that I'm cooking the leaves too. These taste a little bit bitter, and if you dislike it, you can leave them out. For me, I like to just eat everything. While that's happening, I like to rinse my fish. So they did clean it already, but you can see there's a little bit of juices here, and I just want to rinse it once more. Just kind of rinse it a little bit. This kind of fish is called a golden pompano, and it doesn't really have much scales. You can see no scales coming off, so you don't have to do this process. But if you buy a fish with scales, you'll need one of these descaler things, and make sure that the scales that comes off does not go down the drain. You want to save all of it. I eat pretty darn plain, so all I need to do with this vegetable is just soften it up by boiling it a little bit. Now, this is not really boiling because I'm using so little water that the flavor gets retained inside. And this is not quite steaming either, because then after all the juices leak out into the water, I can actually drink this. So after this starts boiling, turn it down to medium-low and let it simmer for the duration of while your fish is cooking. This is my ad hoc steamer thing. It's just basically a pan with like a little elevation thing, and then I can put my plate on top of this, and the steam can come up from the side and into the fish. I'm gonna fill it up with a bit of water, and then you just put your plate on top. I'm gonna put some of the radish leaves on there. You just want any kind of leafy vegetable at the bottom so that the fish skin does not get stuck onto the plate. So normal people like to use some green onions. I just like to use whatever vegetable I have at hand and just line the bottom. Even if you have only a root-like vegetable, you can cut it into slices and just kind of spread it thinly over the bottom. Now I stick the fish on here. You know, just make sure the whole thing is in there. And I'm double checking that the fish is not too high. Some people like to season it with a little bit of salt, but for me, I eat so little salt that I actually don't need to season that at all. I like this fish just the way it tastes naturally, including the vegetable, the way it naturally tastes. I just eat it just by itself. So now you just turn on the heat. After it starts boiling, then you want to steam it for about 13 minutes. Now this fish, you generally want to start at 13 minutes and adjust from 13 minutes. That's like a golden point of steaming. This fish looks slightly bigger, so I'm gonna do like 14.5 minutes just by eyeballing it. Of course, you never want to over steam any kind of fish, because once you do, you overcook it. Any kind of overcooked fish will start to taste dry even if you steam it. So go very lightly on increasing the number of minutes. If it's a bit meatier, you might want to go like 16 minutes at the most. Okay, so now it's starting to boil. I'm gonna start a timer for 14 minutes. It's about 4 minutes after the fish started steaming, and I'm gonna check on how well done this is. It's a little bit white inside, so I'll just let it cook until the fish is done. Okay, so 14 minutes has passed. We can open this up and check it out. Turn off the heat. I use one of these grabber things. You see I can extend it and it'll grab the plate because it's really hot. So you just go and take this off like this, and then pour out the juices here. You can drink this. And then I put it on another plate so it won't be too hot when you handle it. At this point, I'm gonna put in some seasoned soy sauce for seafood. Now, I don't normally put this on, but I'm gonna put it on just to show you. Just a little bit, like that. So a lot of people might be afraid of eating a whole fish like this. The thing is, when you get a whole fish, you get the belly part, you get the regular fillet part, which is usually the top part of the fish over here. Now this golden pompano sort of tastes like hamachi kama, which is yellowtail collar that you can get at a sushi restaurant. So if you eat this belly part over here, let me just show you how tender it is and how much omega-3 fatty acids is in here. And the belly part here, I don't know if you can tell from the video, but it's very buttery. You can see it's not dry at all, and it's sort of moist and basically a bit oily, but this is the good kind of oil, so this is really good for you. And no need to actually take omega-3 supplements, which are really expensive. Then you can just eat a real fish and take your omega-3. So this fish and many other kinds of fishes that you can steam is actually really, really good. When I'm looking at this, I'm actually salivating because it's so good. You would think that if I only spent $2.70 per meal on this thing, that, you know, it won't taste very good, but this is a really, really good tasting meal. You have radishes over here. I have some of the fish broth from the steaming over here. Not everyone will actually like to eat all that much fish because sometimes you have to get used to kind of like a fish taste, I guess. But over here, I would equate this belly to sort of like salmon belly. It's buttery in that way. But not just the belly is good, the back is also good as well. It's sort of like the difference between ribeye and New York steak. New York steak has more flavor in the meat. So in the back of the fish, it tends to be not as buttery, but it has a stronger flavor. So let me try some of that. My take on vegetables is that you should always try to make twice as much as you normally would eat. If you have it cooked and sitting there already, that means you might be tempted to eat more of it. That's the whole idea. You notice that I didn't even bother to cut the radishes in half or slice them because that takes too long a time, I noticed. The bare minimum you need to do is just wash them, shove them all in a pot, and they'll eventually get cooked anyway. They'll get cooked all the way through. So that way you can just leave them cooking and not really do that much knife work. Most of the time when you're eating a salad, you might be only eating 1 or 2 radishes because it's so spicy. But once you cook it, the spiciness kind of goes away, and I can eat like a whole bunch of them like this. There's 2 bunches in here, and we all know that eating more vegetables is good for you. There's even this leftover vegetable broth over here. So if you try to steam something, all the flavorful juices would just drop to the bottom and just kind of get diluted by a lot of water, and you don't want to drink that. But if you put everything in like a small amount of water, it'll essentially concentrate the broth so that you can drink it and it'll taste good. So people tend to be really shy about eating a whole fish in itself because it's so weird. You look at the fish, you know, you can see the whole thing, you can see the head, the tail, people are just not used to this. And I think people should get more used to this instead of all these processed foods where it's so processed that you never see the thing that you're eating in its natural state. So what I normally do with this thing is I kind of eat everything. By the time I'm done with this, you won't see anything left. It'll be like all bones, and it'll be like pretty small pieces because I eat the tail, eat the head, I eat, you know, the backbone. Everything is bone after I'm done with this. If you undercook it, towards the center over here, the meat won't fall off the bone. So you can like go in there and try to remove the meat. If it's stuck on there, it means, well, it's not fully cooked. I like to say something about eating all of the fish because most of the time people do not eat all of the fish. They only want to eat the meat, maybe not even the skin or like the surrounding parts. Definitely an acquired taste, and I remember I used to hate eating the fish head as well. I thought it was really weird, but I think I started eating the fish head when I had to buy my own fish and cook it myself. When you have to go and earn your own money and then you go buy your own fish and you also cook your own fish, you end up thinking, well, you know, I should eat everything because it is edible. All the sea creatures eat the whole fish as well, so why not you? So I have the fish head over here, and the best way I can describe what it tastes like, you might think that it's kind of gross, but think of all the oils that's in the belly. It's kind of like that. Just remove all the oils and it's more concentrated. So you have the back meat, which is not very oily, not very buttery. Then you have the belly meat, which is, you know, pretty buttery. And then you have the head, which is kind of like the buttery part of the belly. And it's just all concentrated in the head. So if you like the buttery taste and you can get over this weird out factor that you're eating a head, it's perfectly okay to do so, and it tastes really good. So I think I'm done with the fish. I had probably a little bit over 1/3 of the fish over here. One meal over here. The other side, one more meal, and then the third meal would be kind of like the tail part of this fish. These radishes actually taste really good. There's a little hint of sweetness to each one. I'm super full now. So now for the cleanup, you have these fish bones. You want to throw these out immediately so that it does not make, you know, your home smell fishy. These guys, you might be tempted to use saran wrap to keep things fresh, but here's a trick you can do. I purposely put all these vegetables in a bigger bowl so that later on I can put the fish right over it. Now it's covered. And now I can use this bottom plate that I used before because it was too hot. I can flip it over, and now this is the cover for my fish. So this whole thing I can stick in the fridge without using any saran wrap at all. And now I only got 2 bowls, a chopstick, and a spoon to wash. So thanks for watching this video. This is kind of like minimizing the amount of effort you need to wash dishes, minimizing the amount of effort you need to make food. And I actually made 3 meals right here. So just one time of me cooking, I can have 3 meals. Don't forget to give me a like on this video, comment down below. Let me know if you're gonna try this $3 steamed fish and vegetable meal. If you're interested in supporting my channel, check out my Audible link down in the video description below where you can get a free audiobook. And if you don't like this service, you can cancel it before the subscription expires. And you can still keep this audiobook for life. I also have a Patreon over here where you can support my channel directly, and you can get perks such as help with your credit score or help with your finances. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel over here and click that bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you get a new notification whenever I upload a brand new video. Thanks for watching.